What's up, everybody? Welcome to some Sultai Vengevine. Hope you're excited to get some nice little Hedron Crab triggers going. As far as our opening hand goes, we have, yeah, man, this is a really good hand. I do like it, but, if we draw into a second land pretty quick, then we're pretty good. I mean, we've got Lot-Lit Troll, Prized Amalgam into the graveyard, Hedron Crab. I'm going to risk it. Let's go and keep. Why not? Let's have some fun. All right. Might have wanted to ship this one back, but yeah, this is good. We'll have some fun. We might regret it, but why not? If we hit the land drop, we look like geniuses. If we don't, then we probably won't hit the land drop for like 8 more turns. Let's go and shock the Watery Grave, and that's how it always goes when you keep those one landers. But this deck is very much a not a glass cannon deck, but it's a little fragile. But when it goes off, and it is absolutely beautiful. But yes, welcome to Sultai Vengevine. We do have some nice stuff in the hand. We do have Lot-Lit Troll, which allows us to discard Vengevine, and Prized Amalgam into the graveyard, which allows us to kind of get some stuff. Do we hit the land drop for the turn, Pinky? Oh, beautiful. Just like we drew it up. All right, so let's go ahead and... Man, that feels good. All right, let's go and go... let's get the Catacombs down. Let's send 3 over to us. In response to that, we're going to go and crack the Catacombs. Let's go and grab a Overgrown Tomb. We're going to go and shock that one in. We're going to pay 2 on though. Yeah, we're going to pay that. Send the other 3 over to us. And you always want to do that in response to the Hedron Crab trigger, just because maybe you might mill the land that you need to grab. Okay. And then our opponent did suspend a Rift Bolt, so at least a Hedron Crab will live to see, at least this turn, get some nice little triggers. Let's go and go for a Glimpse the Unthinkable. We do have Gravecrawler out of the graveyard, so we could cast Lot-Lit Troll and discard Vengevine and Prized Amalgam. Let's actually go Life from the Loam on this one. I like this one. If Hedron Crab does stick around, that'll be nice. But at least next turn, we can bring these lands back out of the graveyard. We can dredge Life from the Loam. And then we can simply cast Lot-Lit Troll. We do get in a weird spot to where, you know, let's say our opponent has some sort of removal for Lot-Lit Troll. We're going to lose that zombie on the battlefield. But at least since we hit a Gravecrawler out of the graveyard, actually, let's pass that over to our opponent. I'll kind of explain what we got going on. Alright, so we had the Rift Bolt. Let's see if they're going to direct it over to Hedron Crab. If not, they might send it over towards us. But at least next turn, we're going to be able to get down Lot-Lit Troll. We discard Vengevine, discard Prized Amalgam. Those will go into the graveyard. We do have at least one more Prized Amalgam in the graveyard, so once the Gravecrawler comes back out, then we'll be online to get those swinging across. But at least we're going to go ahead and try and stick the Lot-Lit Troll next time, see if we can't get a nice little explosive hand. Looks like we're playing against Burn, and I will take that they did not send it over to Hedron Crab. No respect for Hedron Crab. Let's go and dredge Life from the Loam, and then nothing too crazy over there. All right, so let's go ahead and how do we want to sequence this? So we go Lot-Lit Troll. Actually, let's go ahead and go. Did we mill a swamp? We did not mill a swamp. Let's go ahead and get down Pluto Delta. Let's get the Hedron Crab coming across. Going to send that over there. Let's go and crack in response to that. Let's go and grab another swamp. Come into play. That way we're not shocking ourselves too much. 3 more coming across off the Hedron Crab trigger. And let's see if we hit any more Vengevines. Hopefully we do. Yeah, we'll go and use that ability. Bring Gravecrawler. Get the Prized Amalgam going. And at least we'll have one of them on the battlefield if we're not able. Oh, beautiful. Hit another Vengevine. Yes, we're going to use that ability. It's already on the battlefield. Let's go and go Lot-Lit Troll. And what we're going to do on this one is we're going to discard Vengevine first because, yeah, let's go and discard Vengevine. I feel like if they were to use some sort of removal, they probably would have used it on Hedron Crab by now. Let's go and discard the Prized Amalgam. And then let's go ahead and cast the Gravecrawler out of the graveyard. Pain black. So it's going to get the 2 Vengevine triggers. We'll get the second Prized Amalgam off once the Gravecrawler comes back out. Always yield. Yes, we're going to use that ability. Get the Prized Amalgam trigger coming. Oh, beautiful. Turn 3. I'll take it. So we'll have, we could swing it with Hedron Crab if we want to. Hedron Crab is a 0-2, but sometimes he gets a little feisty. You got to let him swing in sometimes. So we'll probably just go and hold back on Hedron Crab on this one. But if the board's ever clear, make sure you do it because Hedron Crab, he greatly appreciates it. Let's go and swing in for, looks like we're going to have 8 coming across with the Vengevines. All right. Let's go and hold back the Hedron Crab. There we go. Alright, coming in for 8, it's going to put our opponent down to 12. They're going to need a nice little amount of burn to kind of help get out of this one, at least kind of get rid of us coming across this turn. But that's a pretty nice little turn 3 over there. Alright, tapping out for 2 total mana. Searing Blaze on Vengevine. Okay, that's okay. 7 damage up top. Get in for 4. That's going to put him down to 15. And then we'll kind of re-rack what we've got going on next turn. Anything else? Now we're going to go and pass the turn. Now, out of the graveyard, it looks like we're playing against Mono Burn. Always yield. And I think that should... Just click OK. I think it'll clear out after that now. There we go. Okay. So we do have Prize Amalgam on the battlefield. There we go. Get the trigger going. Okay, pass it to our opponent. But yeah, so as far as next turn, we do have 10 total mana. Not 10 total mana. We have 10 total power between the Prize Amalgams and the Vengevine. That'll be 10. That'll be 14. The 16, and that'll be 18 coming across. So we actually have lethal right now coming across. If something does happen a lot with that troll, let's say they do get a blocker out there like Goblin Guide or something, we will have the option on Lot That Troll to pay the 1 black mana to regenerate it. There's sometimes with this deck that Eidolon of the Great Revel. Okay. Shows up a little bit too late to the party. We've got a nice little board state developed. Probably not going to be going for Glimpse the Unthinkable or anything like that. But if we want to, yeah, we can dredge Stinkweed Imp, but we'll see what we've got. Let's go and dredge that. You know, if we need to get into explosive hand, we can. Gravecrawler, and there's only one more Gravecrawler out of the graveyard. So let's go and get the, if we get the Catacombs down, yeah, let's go and go for that. It's going to be 3 over at us, and we're not going to crack in response to that one. Now, we do have double Gravecrawler, so we could go for Vengevine. That puts us down to cast it. That'll be 2, 7, puts us down to 3. That puts us right at Lightning Bolt range. Let's just see if we can't maintain our life total and maybe kind of push in a little bit extra damage, discarding the Stinkweed Imp on the Lot Troll. So let's go and do that. We could, if we wanted to press it, let's say if they were out of mana, then we could do that. But if not, we're just going to go and send the whole crew in. And this is actually really good because we have Bloodcast is a 2-1, Gravecrawler is a 2-1, Eidolon of the Great Revel is just a 2-2 body. So pretty much, I mean, you know, if they want to chunk block on Vengevine, they can. But we've got a nice little chunk of damage coming across. But yeah, as far as the deck goes, we're running Sultai in here instead of red. It's a really good way for us to, okay, block on the Eidolon right there. Alright, go down to -1. Go over to sideboarding. We're definitely going to go ahead and bring in Knot of the Bone. That's a really nice matchup in this one. And do we want to bring in Stubborn Denial? That could be an option for us to bring in. I think we're okay with Knot of the Bone. You know, if we stay pretty hot and heavy on the Glimpse the Unthinkables and our dredging, if we can bust a Knot of the Bone, usually if you can just simply resolve a Knot of the Bone, that's usually more than enough for you to win the burn matchup. And if they do have something like Relic or Progenitus, we can go and put that in on game 3. We'll just kind of see how they sideboard in. Now, as far as what we want to cut, let's go ahead and I guess we'll go ahead and back off on, let's just back off on 1 Dread Wonder. You know, Dread Wonder is in here. It's really nice to have that 1-drop zombie to enable some of the Gravecrawlers, but that'll be a good option for us to kind of throw the Knot of the Bone in there. So let's go and shift this one over to game 2 and see if we can't outrace our opponent with some nice little burn action. Alright, opponent's actually ready, so. But yeah, the deck's a lot of fun if you're thinking about building it like some. Ooh, we have Knot of the Bone in the hand. Now here's the kicker. We don't really have any sort of graveyard enablers at this point right now. We can't go for. This will be a pretty slow hand, but we do have Blooming Marsh. We can put Watergrave into play tapped. We can fetch one of our second green. Yeah, we're going to keep on this one. Usually Knot of the Bone will be flashback out of the graveyard to gain that life. But at least having it in the hand, we get that nice little double use out of it. And really, the only thing we need to kind of bust this open would be Glimpse the Unthinkable or Life from the Loam. Now, with Life from the Loam, it'll be really a little slow for us to kind of get some stuff going. But you know, this hand's it's not terrible. But as long as we just draw into some sort of a graveyard enabler, then hopefully Knot of the Bone will allow us to kind of get a nice little advantage in this particular match. And then actually, you know, there will be some circumstances where. So I'm going to get the Blooming Marsh down. Let's go and go for Gravecrawler. Gravecrawler cannot block too, just in case you're not familiar with Gravecrawler. But if you're looking to build this particular deck, maybe you want to build Sultai Vengevine or something like that, it is pretty much, you know, it's okay to run Knot of the Bone in the main if you want to. One of the reasons for that is if you get a nice little graveyard going and you bust a Knot of the Bone, I mean, it's not that far-fetched that you might get to about... you know, get to 30 or 40 life off that, and usually sometimes that's enough to kind of help close it out. Alright, we have Monastery Swiftspear swinging in for 2. Puts us down to 13. And we're going to be pretty cautious with these fetches over here. Draw to Lot That Troll. Let's go ahead and... Okay. Let's go and swing in for 2. Now, we get in the spot to where we get down Lot That Troll. We can discard Vengevine, Prize Amalgam. There'll be an extra 2 out of the graveyard if we go for Knot of the Bone. That might make a difference in this one. Yeah, let's go and swing it for 2. Get our opponent down to 15. If we want to, we can just fetch a simple black off this polluted delta and then use this to grab the second green source for Vengevine. But if we're going to be chunking into lot left, I kind of like that. So let's go ahead and let's go for polluted delta. Let's go get down polluted delta. It also allows us to chunk block on the monastery Swift Spear over there. Let's get the swamp down. Let's go get lot lit troll down. And then anything else. Now we're going to go and pass the turn. Alright, so if they do swing with Monastery Swift Spear, we can chunk Prize Amalgam. That'll make Lotlet Troll a nice little 3-2. And if we go Vengevine, it'll be a 4-3. So that'll be, that'll be double spells as far as prowess is concerned. And if we do lose Lotlet Troll on this particular interaction, it won't be the end of the world. Yeah, in fact, let's go and block on this one. We're at 12, and if something does happen to Lotlet Troll, we still have backup Knot of the Bone. That'll be 3 creature cards we can go for. Let's go and discard a card. Let's discard Vengevine. Let's go and discard Prized Amalgam. Now this puts them on having 2 spells to kind of get out of that range of making sure that their Monastery is going to be able to survive this. Then at the same time, we're discarding on these cards to Lotlet Troll. Lightning Helix, 3 damage. I think at this point we'll probably, since we already declared blocker, it doesn't have trample, let's just still go ahead and discard the Prized Amalgam. It's going to be better in the graveyard for us. That way if we do, we can at least draw 3 off of that, and then we'll be able to take care of the Monastery Swift Spear. I mean, not take care of it, but at least still have 3 out of the graveyard, and that'll be 6 total life. Put us back to 18. Our opponent's at 3 cards in the hand, so hopefully we should be able to kind of stabilize from that. Alright, see what we draw into. Drawn to breaking and entering. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and let's swing in for 2 first. That's exactly pretty much what we needed. Coming in hot. Now, we will have to go ahead and shock a land in like the Watery Grave to get down that blue. But we're going to be online. We don't really, I was thinking about double green like we still have Vengevine in the hand, but we're going to be okay on this one. So let's still go ahead and shock the Watery Grave in. Let's go for the breaking and entering. But the top 8 cards of our life, ooh, beautiful. Drawing the hit a Narcomoeba off that one, which will bring back the Prized Amalgam. Take that. Okay. And then anything else out of the graveyard, we do hit a life from the loam. So we'll kind of get a creature count as far as the total amount of creature cards in the graveyard for this life from the loam, but it's looking pretty good. So we have Vengevine, Lotlet Troll, Dread Wonder, that's 3, 4, and 5. So we have actually 5 total creatures in the graveyard, and then if we do chump block with the Narcomoeba, which we're okay with it at this point, we'll kind of preserve a little bit of a life total. We can go for that. Alright, Monastery and then Goblin Guide swinging in. Top card of our library is a breaking and entering. I think on this one, so we want to chump block. We'll get into spots where we can start swinging with the Prized Amalgams. Yeah, let's go and do that. We'll just go and chump block on the Monastery. That way, if there's some sort of, get rid of that prowess damage, I'm okay with that one. And then Narcomoeba will actually count out of the graveyard for that too. See if they're getting down. Rift Bolt exiled. Okay. Let's go and dredge life from the loam. And the good thing about this having flashback is that we can just kind of preemptively go for it and then recast it out of the graveyard to kind of regain that life. So let's go and swing in for 5. It's going to put our opponent down to 11. But you can really see where Knot of the Bone's really nice card in a matchup when you have a ton of creature cards in the graveyard. Alright, swinging in for 5. Puts them down to 11. Let's go and go for the Polluted Delta. We do have 1 Overgrown Tomb in the graveyard, so let's go and get that down. And then let's go and go for a Knot of the Bone. We'll just go and do this right now. That way we're going to play around Skullcrack. Let's say they did have Skullcrack or anything like that. We can just go for it now while they're tapped out. Go back to 20. Anything else? Now we're going to go and pass the turn. Alright. So we have Prized Amalgam. We still have Knot of the Bone flashback out of the graveyard. We did gain 12 off of that. I'm pretty sure we're at 8. Put us back to 20. And then we still have a nice little clock on our opponent at 5 damage coming across. And we still have life from the Knot of the Bone out of the graveyard too. So we will have to play around Skullcrack, but yeah, Knot of the Bone, man, it's such a good card. It reminds me of, but there's a, what card is it? It's called Crypt Incursion, I think. It's a black spell that, Lava Spike again, puts us down to 3. So we got 6 coming across, so it's going to put us down to 5. So we can still bust Knot of the Bone. They're down to 1 card, so I'm actually okay with this interaction. Alright, Glimpse the Unthinkable on top. We go for that, Life from the Loam. I think I'm actually okay with kind of shuffling that away. Do we have a Dredge out of the graveyard? We don't. Okay, so let's go and crack the Polluted Delta. It's going to put us down to 4. Let's going to grab that Overgrown Tomb. Not going to shock it in. No, we are good on that. Okay, let's see what we draw into. Draw into another Prized Amalgam. Let's go and swing in for 5. And then we also, once we go for the Knot of the Bone, we get into spots where we can simply just cast the Prized Amalgam to kind of chump block on our opponent's creatures. Alright, put him down to 6. And once again, we're going to be playing around the Knot of the Bone, so we're going to go ahead playing around the Skull Cracks. So let's go ahead and go for the Knot of the Bone right now. Alright, puts us back at 16. So we have 3 coming across next turn. That's going to be 1 more card. So let's say there is a little bit more damage. They are at 6, and we have 5 coming across, so they're going to have to be pretty careful as far as how they want to swing in. Now, if we do, somehow, if we draw into like Gravecrawler, we do have Prized Amalgam, or if we draw into any of our other 1-drops, then we can also go for the Prized Amalgam, get that down, and then cast it and have that Vengevine coming out with some nice little haste action. Alright, Skullcrack. There we go. Love it. Let's see, it's going to put us down to 13. Get in for 4. It's going to put us right down. Puts us down to 9. And then we're online to kind of get down whatever we want. So let's see what we draw into on this one. Draw into Glimpse. Alright. Let's go and get the Catacombs down. And let's go and swing in for 5. It's going to put our opponent down to 1. And then on this one, what we're probably just going to do is just go and get down Prized Amalgam. We're not going to worry about cracking any of the other ones. And then, yeah, let's get that down. They're going to have to push past through the Prized Amalgam, and then next turn that allows us, they're sitting at 1 life total, so if they do hold back their Goblin Guides and the Monastery Swift Spear, we can stop that from coming across. Then we still have a fetch land that if we need to activate, let's say there's something on top off the Goblin Guide that we're not really that excited about, we kind of shuffle it away. But at least we can kind of hold them at bay with the Prized Amalgam. More than likely we'll block on the Monastery Swift Spear. Just that way we can get rid of any proud. Okay, opponent scoops it up, get him down to 1, take care of red, white, burn. But yeah, you can really see where Knot of the Bone is really good in the burn matchup. So it was really nice that we had that in our opening hand. So, but yes, if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.